In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, one God, amen. Hey, Warrior Saints. About a week or so ago, I had a very uncomfortable, traumatic experience at the grocery store. My wife gave me a list of a couple things to go pick up. So I went, and one of them was fresh mint. We needed fresh mint. So I went to the case in Fry's where there is produce and fresh mint, and they have misters every so often blowing and all these wonderful things, where they keep everything fresh. And as I'm approaching and I'm looking to find out where I need to be to find the fresh mint, a woman with her cart comes right in front of me, leaves her cart right in front of me, as though I don't even exist, and then walks away. And me being me, and being prone to smart aleckness, I said to this woman, "Hi!" And she turned to me, and she said, "Hi!" And then turned back and walked away, leaving her cart right in between me and this fresh mint that I really needed. I was amazed at how self-absorbed we've become as a society. And I went home with my fresh mint, and the other things I needed to have dinner, and I sat down and I turned on the TV show that I wanted to watch, because it's my TV and I'm finally in a place where I can make my decisions, unlike the grocery store where other people's carts get in my way. And I saw this wonderful commercial for Gila River Casinos. And Gila River Casinos told me, "You do you." We live in a society where we're constantly being told, be self-absorbed. You do you. You go work on you. You figure out who you are. You need to find yourself. You need to work on yourself. We're told to put our stock entirely in ourselves. We're told to constantly be focusing on us. When you look at what kids in school are being taught ultimately, and I'm oversimplifying it, but what they're being taught is, you need to do well in school so that you could get a good job, so that you can get into a good college, so that you can get that good job, so that once you have that good job, you can get lots of money, so that you can buy a nice house. And we all want the American dream. We want a nice house with a white picket fence with 2.5 children. That's the national average. And we want to have these things that are all for us. Working on ourselves, focusing entirely on me. In this morning's gospel, we hear Christ say, "Do not lay up for yourselves treasures on earth. For where your treasure is, there is your heart." Now it sounds like this passage jives, works with what we're being taught. It sounds like, well, if I put my treasure into myself, that's where my heart is. And then I can give my heart to others. But it's not really the case. When I put my treasure in myself, my heart is only focused on myself. My heart is not focused on what I am called to do, who I am called to be. I'm not called to do me. I'm not called to decide what I want and to make everything line up with what I want all the time. And it's amazing, as if you ever go to a planetarium and have the opportunity to see a show that goes through our understanding of the universe, it's fascinating. Because the more we learn about this great universe that God has created, the less we understand about how our role in the center of it all exists. You know, man used to look at the sky and think that everything rotated around man. that the earth was flat and that all of the heavens were rotating around where he was. Then they understood that the world was round and that maybe everything is still rotating around the earth, but man's place in the earth is also moving. Then we find out we are not the center. We are not the center of the universe. The sun is the center of our universe. And there are other universes that exist further. And if you don't believe me, watch Men in Black. The end of the very, very first movie, they find out, and I'm going to spoil it, so if you haven't seen this movie, I don't know what you've been doing for the last 20 years. But at the end of Men in Black, they open a storage locker and they say, that's a terrible way to live. Shouldn't we tell this entire population that thinks that their world is the entirety, but it's actually in a storage locker? Shouldn't we tell them about reality? And Tommy Lee Jones looks at Will Smith and says, Junior, you've got a lot to learn. Kicks open a door that says, do not open, and they realize that they themselves are in another storage locker amidst a list of other storage lockers. Our place in society, our place in the world is not centered on ourselves, though we get lost in it. We hear this morning's gospel as a reminder, as a challenge, as we begin Great Lent, that we are called to start this process that the church gives us for the next 40 days of self-examination, introspection, but it's true introspection. It's difficult. It requires honesty, and we don't ever want to be honest with ourselves. We avoid being honest with ourselves. It involves humility. Great humility. Which brings us to today's practical point. I've kind of adapted 3 steps that my dad uses for conflict resolution. But 3 steps that we can use to help us with this process of introspection. The first is, what am I presenting to the world? What am I presenting to the world? Who am I presenting? Am I presenting me? Am I presenting someone that I think I should be? Am I presenting someone that I think others want me to be? What am I presenting to the world? Does my actual life match the life I portray on social media? Does my actual life portray my own desires or my desire to make someone else succeed? And if you want to see how that gets pushed, watch people try to make group plans. Watch people make group plans. Where do you want to go for dinner? Oh, I don't care. We can go wherever. Oh, maybe we'll go here. Oh, maybe we'll go there. Everyone starts hedging, hemming, hawing. No one wants to actually make the decision because no one wants to actually say, this is what I want to do. Up until the moment when someone suggests something that we just flat out don't want to do. If I'm making group plans with you and you tell me we should go out for Indian food, I am going to have a hard pass on that one. It's going to be a hard pass. I don't like Indian food. Even when I start out the conversation with, oh, I don't care where we go, the minute you say Indian food, I suddenly have an opinion. I didn't have an opinion. But because you started to push me outside of my comfort zone, I'm uncomfortable. I want to stay in my box. I don't want to go out of there. I don't want to go past what I'm willing to present to you. I don't want to go past a point where I'm uncomfortable. So although I'm presenting to you, I'm okay, I'm easygoing, I'm laid back. The minute that pushes my comfort zone, I shut down. I tell you hard no. The second then leads us to, what am I actually reacting to? And what are my reactions? Am I hearing what's really said? In these masks that I'm putting on, in this desire to be someone that I think others want me to be, am I actually hearing what is being said? Or am I simply hearing what I think others are wanting because I'm trying to conform and contort to be who other people are looking for me to be, or who I perceive that? So I'm not being honest with who I am, and then I'm unable to hear what the people being honest in front of me actually are needing, which blocks my ability to actually serve people, which blocks my ability to actually go outside of my comfort zone and lay my treasure, my heart, in someone else, seeking out what they need, what is best for them, rather what I think is just simply best for me. Which brings us to today, our third point. We have Forgiveness Sunday. Forgiveness is hard. Forgiveness is uncomfortable. When I react to something that I didn't actually hear, sometimes I overreact. Ask my wife. Sometimes I get a little bit whiny. But when I actually allow myself to recognize that, allow myself to say, please forgive me, then I actually am conforming not to who I think others want me to be, but to who God has created me to be. I'm actually presenting someone who I am called to be, who I am created to be. Every Sunday, we see this modeled for us by our clergy, who right after reading Psalm 50, the pinnacle of asking for forgiveness, they turn to everybody in the congregation and say, "Forgive, O God, those who love us and those who hate us." They not only seek forgiveness from those whom they maybe have offended, but they ask God to forgive even those who don't like them. My dad modeled this for me beautifully. There was a gentleman in our old parish who walked up to him and said, "I don't like you. I don't like the way," he went further, "I don't like the way you look. I don't like the way you dress. I don't like the way you carry yourself. I don't like the inflection of your voice when you preach. I don't like the sound of your voice when you sing. I just don't like you." He went on and on and on. And every Sunday, with that man standing right in the church, "Forgive, O God, those who love us and those who hate us. Forgive me, my brothers and sisters, all my sins and transgressions," which they say for us again, a second time, just before communion. This modeling of seeking forgiveness goes far beyond just simply, "I'm sorry, honey, I should have taken the trash out." Goes far beyond that, to a place where we actually are looking to be forgiven for any sins that we have actually committed. And the flip side is we're willing to give forgiveness when forgiveness is sought after. And this is even harder. We like to hold on to our anger. We like to hold on to things that people have wronged us. And because I'm wronged, I am going to be angry at them forever. We'll never speak to them again. We live in this world where we not only don't want to ask for forgiveness, we don't want to give it. We want to hold on to it because we've defined ourselves. We've defined ourselves by this anger. This anger has become something that says more about who I am than anything else. My prayer for all of us is that as we begin this Lenten season, we actually take these points, looking at what I'm presenting to the world, looking at who I'm showing myself to be, seeking to actually hear what's real and seek reality in the situation, and seeking and giving forgiveness. That God gives us the strength during this Lenten period to actually follow this journey, so that our Lenten period may truly, truly prepare us for the power of Christ's resurrection.